We are back, El Rushbo, having more fun than a human being should be allowed to have, with half my brain tied behind my back, just to make it fair.
Live from the Southern Command in sunny South Florida, it's Open Line Friday!
And one big hour remains here for you to talk about whatever you want. I know it's going to be the debate, the campaign. That's fine. We'll try to squeeze as many as we can in our remaining hour here. And a couple things, soundbite-wise, and some accompanying news stories I want to touch on. 800-282-2882 and the email address lrushbo@eibnet.com. There was one thing I noticed. I need to observe this. One thing I noticed during the entire day yesterday, the day before, about the possibility that Trump might not show up. Now, obviously, Fox News was concerned, and they did not hold back their concern. O'Reilly's got Trump on the night before, begging him to show up. Fox News was engaged, apparently in negotiations all day, so they were making it known they really would like Trump to be there. It was not something that they didn't care about. But the RNC, did you notice that the drive-by media, well, not the drive-by so much, but the Republican establishment didn't seem all that concerned about this? And you know why that is, don't you? Oh, because this set the table to take out Ted Cruz, who they really hate. Remember now, the establishment's out there saying, we think we could deal with Trump. Trump, yeah, he'll make deals with it. Trump's not a rigid ideologue, meaning he's not a conservative. But Cruz is somebody we can't do business with. Cruz, if he wins, he's going to be straight down the board conservative through and through. We don't want any of that. Trump's absence put Cruz in the center of the stage, which meant that all the fire was going to be aimed at Ted Cruz. So Trump not showing up actually facilitated the desires of the Republican establishment. Well, it furthered the possibility of their desires. I mean, I'm not saying the RNC got together with Fox and said, hey, take out Cruz, because everybody's going to be aiming at Cruz anyway. Of all the people there, he was the front runner. Trump not there. You can hit Trump all day long, but it's arguable whether you'll do much damage. But you can go after Cruz if you want. And a lot of people did. Rubio did, understandably so. The moderators were going after everybody. It's just the way the moderators have decided to do these things. We talked about that earlier. So it did set Cruz up for headlines today that he did not come through. He did not do quite as well. This is the kind of thing the RNC or the Republican establishment doesn't mind seeing at all. Just an observation. And I don't think there's any question about it. I thought Cruz did. I thought Cruz had a couple of really great moments. Rubio did too. Their story here in Vanity Fair. Now you might say, Vanity Fair, who gives a rush? Who cares a whit about Vanity Fair? Well, to a lot of the elites and the big clique guys in pop culture, Vanity Fair is like a Bible. And their headline, A Lost Republican Field Struggles to Debate Without Donald Trump. Subheadline is, Without the gravitational pull of the reality star, the candidates suddenly became aimless. As Thursday night's Republican presidential debate progressed, it became clear that the Trumpster had pulled the rest of the Republican candidates into his gravitational well, locking them into near permanent orbit around his personality. Without Trump, who boycotted the Fox News event over a disagreement with one of its hosts, that's not why he boycotted the thing. The rest of the candidates seemed confused at how to define themselves on their own terms or to confront each other without the front-runner present. So this story clearly making these Republican candidates on the stage last night look like they were lost dwarves. Big Daddy wasn't around. Didn't know how to act without Big Daddy on the stage. The writer here is Tina Nguyen. She's Vietnamese, Nguyen, pronounced Nguyen. A couple of pull quotes. Nowhere was this more evident than in Megyn Kelly's ruthless questioning, utterly devastating Rubio and Cruz, with pointed video clips of them flip-flopping on positions like amnesty and legalization of undocumented immigrants. Cruz and Rubio likely anticipated those attacks from each other and probably hoped that the drama of their televised clash would differentiate each other, but they had no idea how to communicate a clear, unique answer to questioning from a third party. Did you get that impression? I mean, the clear opinion here is that Cruz and Rubio might have been ready for one or the other to come after them, but they were lost when Megyn Kelly came after them. Totally lost, totally unprepared for Megyn Kelly's then and now video. I don't think they came across as lost. There might have been a brief moment of gulp. What the hell's this? But the recovery, Rubio's recovery, Cruz's recovery on this stuff was stellar, to the point that Megyn Kelly had to admit to Cruz after the debate on her show that after she had done exhaustive research, guess what? She had learned that he was right all along, that he had been trying to poison the legislation with amendments that would expose it for what it was. A lot of people say, well, thanks for nothing. You conclude after the attempted destruction that he was right. Another pull quote, in a normal cycle, candidates could hone those positions on air in front of millions of people, learning what the electorate responds to best and how to forge their own narrative. But in this cycle, the majority of candidates have been forced to spend each debate attacking Trump's temperament and lack of leadership, slow to realize that his positions resonated with most of the country. Excuse me, that's not exactly what happened here. I mean, you can say that the candidates spent the debate attacking Trump's temper, but that's because that's where the moderators took them. Remember, that's what Cruz at the CNBC debate finally stood up in exasperation. Look, this is pointless. In the last 30 minutes, you have accused him of this, him of that, somebody over here are doing that, me of this. But see, they played by the rules. They followed the rules. The moderators took them where they wanted them to go. They went there until finally somebody stood up. Well, here's an example. This is Megyn Kelly opening the debate with a question about Trump, and it is for Ted Cruz.
Let's address the elephant not in the room tonight. Donald Trump has chosen not to attend this evening's presidential debate. What message do you think that sends to the voters of Iowa?
Let me say, I'm a maniac, and everyone on this stage is stupid, fat, and ugly. And Ben, you're a terrible surgeon. Now that we've gotten the Donald Trump portion out of the way.
I heard a lot of laughter there. I had some people say, hey, Cruz ought to leave the humor alone. He's not a funny guy. That kind of worked. What are you looking at me like that for? You don't think it worked? I mean, it didn't work for you? Okay. Well, then let's try this. This is Brett Baer, and he's asking a moment of Jeb. But Dr. Krauthammer, by the way, Dr. Krauthammer said that this was Jeb's best night so far, except the last debate, which was his best night so far. And then the night before that was his best night so far. I think this. Dr. Krauthammer watched the debate. He said that this is, but he's same way. He said that no question, hands down, this is Jeb's best debate. In fact, Jeb might have finally triumphed in a debate. I think Dr. Krauthammer said. Let's see here. So it is Brett Baer Says, Governor Bush, it's hard for anyone of your pedigree to avoid being called establishment. But isn't that part of the problem in this race, that three others on this stage are splitting the mainstream Republican vote and thereby possibly handing the nomination over to an anti-establishment candidate?
I kind of miss Donald Trump. He was a little teddy bear to me. We always had such a loving relationship during these debates and in between and the tweets. I kind of miss him. I wish he was here. Everybody else was in the witness protection program when I went after him on behalf of what the Republican cause should be. Look, I'm an establishment because my dad, the greatest man alive, was president of the United States, and my brother, who I adore as well, is a fantastic brother, was president. Fine, I'll take it. I guess I'm part of the establishment because Barbara Bush is my mom. I'll take that too.
No. See, he admits being part of the establishment because his parents are part of the establishment. And since they were part of the establishment, how could he not be? And he's proud of his parents, and so therefore he's going to be the establishment. The question was, you're not the only one up there. There's a bunch of them up here. Aren't you afraid you guys might split the vote and leave it open for Trump? Oh, no, I miss Donald. I miss Trump. He was a little teddy bear to me. Next, this is the Today Show today, Savannah Guthrie, speaking with Chuck Todd about the Republican debate last night. And Savannah Guthrie said, and normally at this time in the morning I would ask who won the debate, but today I'm going to say who won the night. Did Trump's big gamble pay off, Chuck?
I think it did, and the reason I think it paid off because nobody on that debate stage was able to take advantage of the moment. That was an opportunity for a couple of the front runners to come out and really go at Trump. He wasn't there to respond, and they chose not to do it. If you're Trump, you're sitting there going, well, this was great. Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, the two guys chasing me, ended up beating each other up, and oh, by the way, were the targets of everybody else.
So then Willie Geist, who's also on the show, said, hey, a lot of people thought that Ted Cruz, because he's running so close with Trump in Iowa, would have a target on his back. How did he handle that pressure last night, Chuck?
I think he struggled with it early. In particular, he was the one getting a lot of incoming. I thought he looked a little testy at times. His jokes fell a little flat. His little tweaking of the moderators didn't seem to go over well. If anything, Rubio may be nipping at his heels a bit. This may be a closer three-way race here than we thought.
You know, I marvel at this. I try to put myself in the position of people that are going to caucus on Monday night. And by the way, we haven't discussed this. I just assumed everybody knows what happens at a caucus. But maybe it would be worthwhile just a short little illustration here. As it differs from going up to vote. When you show up at your polling place to vote, you go in there, you do it in private. You mark your ballot, as many of them as you can get, if you're a Democrat, and you turn them in and you leave. You get a little sticker saying, I voted. You feel like a great citizen. You walk around, you peel the sticker off. When you walk out and get in your car, you go home, tell everybody you vote. When you go caucus, you go into what could be somebody's living room, a gymnasium, could be a library, any number of places, and all kinds of people from your district are in there. And people of varying degrees of intensity, supporting various numbers of candidates, start working on you. And you start caucusing, you start talking about it. And it's like being on a jury. You go in there and you start examining the evidence and who's for who and why, and people work on you and try to change your mind, talk you out of what you're thinking. You might do the same thing, and it goes on for a little while, an hour or two. And that's why everybody talks about the ground game. Having a big ground operation is so important there, because you've got to turn out people that are going to show up to the caucus for you, committed to you, because everybody representing other candidates is going to try to shame you out of it, or talk you out of it, threaten you out of it, or what have you. And then, who is it? Bernie Sanders, I think. No, it's the Hillary camp, is accusing Crazy Bernie of bussing in a bunch of college students from out of state to show up at various caucus and pollute things, much as Obama did in 2000, which he did. That's precisely what Obama did. And he ended up winning the Hawkeye Caucus when he wasn't really thought to be in the position of winning it. I mean, back then, Hillary was going to even then she was going to run the table. So as I listen to these guys analyze the debates, it's like, here's Chuck Todd. Well, I don't know. I think Cruz struggled with it early. It's as though, imagine you're a caucus goer and you're going to go for Cruz. And you like Cruz because you like his issues, you like his temperament, you like this. So you want the guy to do well in a debate. You watch a debate and maybe he's not doing well, but you really want him to. I don't know that people analyze it the way these guys do. He didn't start out strong. Man, those jokes that he tried to fill flat. I can't caucus for Cruz. I don't think it works that way. It's the way they look at it. It's the way these horse race types look at it. This is like trying to analyze the outcome of a football game in the first quarter by judging who's breaking the huddle the fastest. Who seems to have the momentum? Well, there's going to be a whole bunch of momentum shifts before the game is over. But it's not new. It's just I've always been interested, perplexed at the same time in the way these professionals sit there and analyze these debates or performances half hour by half hour, 5 minutes by 5 minutes, answer by answer, as though this is how people are watching and their minds can be changed, when in reality most people's minds, if they're going to be changed, are going to be changed by others at the caucus, leaning on them, pressuring them, what have you. Got to take a break. We'll be back. Don't go away.